Hello everybody, my name is Miss Mary from the Wanda Mount Pleasant Library, and I'll be your professor of Dragonology 101 today. So what is a dragon? According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it's a mythical animal usually represented as a monstrous serpent with wings and a crested head and enormous claws. Most cultures all over the world actually have some form of dragon, whether that's got 2 legs, no legs, wings, no wings. So why do you think all over the world people are telling stories about dragons, but they haven't talked to each other in ancient cultures? Why do you think this is? Perhaps it's because people saw the bones of dinosaurs, and these days, if you and I go and see a T-Rex skull out in the wild, we'll probably say, oh, that's a T-Rex, I know what a T-Rex looks like, I know what the rest of its bones are. But back in ancient times, before we had cataloged all our different dinosaurs, if you saw a T-Rex skull out in the middle of nowhere, and you'd heard stories about dragons, you might think, that's probably a dragon. Another theory for why people have dragon stories all over the world is the fear of snakes. Now, people are programmed to be afraid of snakes because snakes can be venomous, and so people have learned over years and years and years that if you mess with this animal, you might die. And that's actually programmed into our subconscious. So if you're sitting around the campfire with your friends, and you've just had some dinner and you're bored, maybe you're gonna tell a monster story. And what monster are you afraid of? Snakes. Ooh, but what if snakes were cooler and they had legs and wings and they could breathe fire? Well, there's dragons all over the world. Dragons have actually turned out to be kind of different across different cultures though. So in the East, like in China and Korea, you usually have friendly dragons who are associated with wisdom and the heavens. They also look different. They tend to have longer bodies. They aren't usually drawn with wings, but sometimes they can fly. And instead of breathing fire, they're associated with water and rivers, and sometimes they can control the weather. Dragons in Western legends, like from Europe, are a little bit more what you and I might be familiar with. They have wings, they breathe fire, they're mean, they will eat knights, they will steal your princesses, they have big hoards of treasure, and you might be thinking of Smaug from The Hobbit, or if you've read Beowulf, that's the sort of dragon that is the monster that the hero must defeat at the end. But they're not all just black and white, good and bad. In Mesoamerican cultures, they had a great feathered serpent deity, which was a god of wisdom and knowledge, so that's another example of a dragon. In Greek mythology, you have a whole lot of different kind of snake-type creatures. One of them is called the Hydra, and it has 7 different heads, but if you cut off one, 7 more appear. And this was defeated by Hercules. Also in Japanese mythology, they tend to look like the Korean or Chinese dragons with their long bodies, but they're not always helpful. Sometimes they could be mischievous or tricky, but they're also some of the only legends from history where you can actually ride them, or at least mortal beings can ride them up into heaven. Let's talk about one thing a lot of dragons have in common. That's breathing fire. Now, what do you need for fire? You need oxygen in the air around you. You need something for it to burn, whether that's gasoline or wood or paper, and you need a spark or enough heat to start the flame. So I have my lighter here, and inside the body of my lighter is a liquid fuel that produces a gas. And when I hold down this button on the top, gas comes out of here. You can't see it because it's invisible and it's just a tiny, tiny amount. And when I pull this trigger, then it makes sparks to light my gas on fire. So let's see if we can do that. Observe the flame. Now, how does that work for dragons? Obviously, there's no creatures in nature that are known to breathe fire, but there are a whole lot of interesting chemical reactions that humans definitely don't have. For example, there's bioluminescence, such as with fireflies or other creatures in the ocean that mix chemicals together to create light. And there's actually an animal that shoots boiling hot liquid from its rear end called the bombardier beetle. That's also caused by a chemical reaction. So if dragons were lighters, they would probably have to have some organ inside them that could produce a flammable gas. They would need to have something in their mouth or somewhere up here that would create sparks as well. So maybe that's their teeth, maybe they keep rocks up there. Nobody's really sure. Or maybe you're not really too worried about the science. Maybe you can just say, dragons are magic and that's why they breathe fire. And I think that's a pretty good explanation too. If you're interested in learning some more about dragons, check out the links in the description for a few fun resources and videos I've saved for you. If you want your local librarian to recommend a dragon book for you, be sure to call your branch or place one on hold through our website. A few of my favorites are Where the Mountain Meets the Moon by Grace Lin, and this book has a Chinese dragon in it. Then The Language of Spells by Garrett Weir is another one that I really enjoyed, set in Germany in the 1960s. And this is a good book for you if you're wondering, where are all the dragons today, and why don't they tell new stories about dragons? For our younger readers, I would also recommend the Dragon Masters series by Tracy West. And there's just a whole lot of different dragons in this one from all over the world, and it's just a really fun adventure. So for our craft today, we're going to be making dragon eyes, and they can sort of open and close, and we're going to be using the principles of origami, and you're also going to need a pencil and a couple of markers or crayons in your color of choice. So you need a square sheet of paper, and one easy way to get a square, if you don't have one already, is to take your printer sheet of paper and fold it into a triangle like this so that both of the ends line up. And now if you cut off this end part, you'll have a perfect square. So we're going to start with 2 diagonal folds. We're going to fold it once this way, and then unfold that, and fold it again on the other diagonal. Great. Now unfold that again, and take one of the bottom corners and bring it up to the middle crease here. And repeat. Take the corner across from it and bring it to the middle crease. And now take this and fold it up to the middle again. And repeat on the other side. Great. Now actually unfold these because we have all the right creases, they're just in the wrong order. So now you're going to take your corner and just use that crease that you already have to press it down to the first line you can reach. Then fold that in again, and fold it one more time, and the creases are already there. It should be really easy. Alright, so you should have something like this now, and you're going to turn it over to the back side, and you should have a crease down the middle from where we did the first corner fold. So you're going to take this point and fold it so it's touching the crease in the middle. Press it down really well, and repeat on the other side, of course. Alright, and now you're going to take one corner and fold it from the middle crease here all the way up to this little triangle. So again, we have it starting at the middle crease, and the end of it lines up with this triangle here. Now repeat that again on the bottom. And now unfold these and do the same thing with the top pieces. And that is it for the construction of your origami eye. Now you can unfold it and color in the middle. You can make a big pupil, and I like to leave this little shiny bit. Let's get this guy open. I like to leave little shiny marks to make them look more realistic. You can use whatever colors you want and do some scales on the outside, and that is your dragon eye.